I think a commissioned position is very different than what we are discussing today. And
Representative Omar, I mentioned the fact that it's not just limited to commission. It's also for anybody that is demoted. So you can be in a regular job, not part of a commission situation, but if you're failing to perform, you'll get demoted, and then you get a pay cut with it. So I just want to...
Ilhan Omar just got a brutal dose of reality from someone who actually understands how the real world works. During a House hearing, she questioned whether any business ever cuts pay for underperforming employees. And that's when Republican Barb O'Neill calmly stepped in and dismantled her argument with real-world experience. This wasn't just a debate. It was a clash between fantasy and reality, between those who've built something and those who've only lived off taxpayer money. Watch how it all unfolded.
Chair, Representative O'Neill, I'm just wondering, are there... I was a union member for a long time, and I've also gotten an opportunity to work in the private sector. And I'm curious to know if you know of any employer that has a provision where they decrease pay for employees. I find that a little strange, and so I just wanted to know where that thought comes from, and if you know where an employee gets their pay decreased.
Representative O'Neill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, I was a business owner. I recently sold my share, so I don't own it anymore, but there are plenty of businesses out there, especially those that depend on employees' productivity, like I was in the trades. So I owned a company that was a tile setting company, and if we didn't get out there and do the work, and if I didn't have highly productive employees, they were paid based on their productivity. So if they had issues, it is very possible that their pay would reflect those issues. If they were on probation for something, for some sort of violation, that could be coordinated with a pay reduction. It's something that businesses do all the time, and it could be the step before someone is actually fired. So it's an important thing, and it gets people's attention, when they see it in their paycheck that their performance does not meet the standard.
Representative Omar.
Hudson, I think did you have something?
Madam Chair.
Mr. Hudson? Was there a question for Mr. Hudson?
No, I think he was saying that he wanted to add something, so I didn't know if he had something to add.
Mr. Hudson, is there a response to the question? Do you have a response to that question?
Madam Chair, yes, ma'am.
Are you saying that you aren't aware of any businesses that decrease pay? Because that was the question.
Madam Chair, I think what Chair O'Neill perhaps could be referring to, there are some instances where the pay structure is different. So for an example, she had indicated that she had come out of the towel industry. I'm not sure if these were commissioned employees who may have been on like an 80-20 split. In that instance, there is a situation where a pay might be reduced. Or if we have a supervisor who perhaps had a performance improvement issue or a behavioral concern, and we demoted this supervisor, that is an instance where pay might be decreased. But just an employee who has not been under some sort of performance improvement program having their pay reduced, I've never heard of that.
Well, Mr. Hudson, I think Representative Neal knows exactly what she says. And I think we've had a little conversation back here when the question was asked. I know Representative Uglem, do you want to speak to that point?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Representative Omar, if you happen to be a salesman in this world, and you can be selling cars, you could be selling siding, you could be selling just about anything, and you are paid on commission. So if you don't sell anything, you don't make anything. So you can have good years, you can have bad years. Probably really one of the best examples is a real estate agent. So it's the idea that people can can make less money year to year, not to mention all the bonus situations that are out there in industry. It happens. It happens a lot. It doesn't necessarily happen, here in the public sector, but it's pervasive and very, very common in the private sector. Thank you.
And I'd like to add that in the private sector as well, people, if they are not performing at their job, get demoted, and with that demotion comes a pay cut. And that's not even related to being in a commission position, that's just in a regular position as well. Representative Omar.
I think a commissioned position is very different than what we are discussing today.
Representative Omar, I mentioned the fact that it's not just limited to commission. It's also for anybody that is demoted. So you can be in a regular job, not part of a commission situation, but if you're failing to perform, you'll get demoted, and then you get a pay cut with it. So I just want to make
What you're about to see perfectly captures the disconnect between Washington elites like Ilhan Omar and hardworking Americans who actually understand how business works. During this recent congressional exchange, Omar questioned whether any employer ever reduces pay for employees who don't perform, calling the idea strange. Yes, she actually said that. Now, for anyone who's ever worked outside of government, you know exactly how ridiculous that question sounds. In the private sector, performance matters. Results matter. But for Omar, who spent her entire career inside the political bubble, the concept of accountability seems completely foreign. Representative Barb O'Neill, who actually owned a business, didn't take the bait. She calmly explained that in her company, a tile-setting business, productivity directly impacted pay. If an employee underperformed, violated rules, or got demoted, their paycheck reflected that reality. That's not cruelty. It's common sense. Then other representatives jumped in to back her up. Mr. Hudson explained that in many industries, a demotion comes with a pay cut. Representative Uglum brought up the most obvious example, sales. Car salesmen, real estate agents, and thousands of other workers live on commission. If you sell more, you make more. If you sell nothing, you make nothing. That's how incentive works. It's how capitalism works. But instead of acknowledging that, Omar doubled down, insisting that commission-based pay was somehow different. She just couldn't seem to grasp the basic principle that compensation is tied to performance, that you don't get rewarded for failure. And that's what makes this moment so telling. You have two completely different worldviews on display. On one side, people like Barb O'Neill, who've built businesses, made payroll, and lived in the real economy where effort equals outcome. On the other, Ilhan Omar, representing a political class that believes paychecks, success, and even opportunity should be guaranteed, regardless of contribution. The truth is, this isn't just about one comment in a committee hearing. It's about the future of the country. Do we continue down a path where personal responsibility, hard work, and merit are rewarded? Or do we embrace a world where everyone gets the same outcome no matter how much or how little they do? O'Neill's calm, factual response exposed just how disconnected Omar is from reality. It wasn't loud, it wasn't flashy, it was a quiet, devastating reality check. And it reminded everyone watching that people who've never built anything shouldn't be writing the rules for those who have. At the end of the day, this was more than just a viral clip. It was a reminder of the two Americas we're living in, one that believes in earning your way, and another that believes everything should be handed to you. And when those two worlds collide, reality always wins.